Hello guys, welcome. Hello, welcome guys. So we are about to continue. Okay, my phone, my light went off. Sorry. So the lights just came on, and then we are about to continue. Okay. So let me set the camera well so that you can see me. Set it well. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Yeah. So can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, Nelson, thank you. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Hello, can you hear me? I hope you can see everything. I hope it's clearer. Is it clearer? Hello, is it clearer? Can somebody type? I just want to know whether you can hear me and whether it is clearer, please. Hello. Hello, welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you share the live? Please share. Please share, okay? Share for me. Please share so that others can watch as well. Hello. Please, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me so that I can continue with the video. Okay, so we had lights out here and my machine couldn't work at then, so I had to pause and then continue when the lights came back. So we now have light. So if you can hear me, please let me know. Type in the comment section that you can hear me so that we continue with the video, please. Can you hear me? Type so that we continue the video. I want to know if you can hear me, please. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Please, I want to know if you can hear me. Somebody, please, somebody just type something. I want to know if the sound is okay. Hello. Okay. So we continuing. This is the zipper. This is the zipper. Okay. We are going to. This is the tips of the zipper. Okay. So this is going to be facing the fabric. Okay, the tip of the zipper is going to be facing the fabric. Mind you, this is the crotch. Okay, and this part is the left part. All right, this is the left part. This is a male trouser, so this is the left part. Okay, so I'm going to put the zipper, this half inch, this allowance here on the zipper is going to match the allowance here. Okay, so I'm going to put this on it like so. So first of all, like I was saying in the live before we had light out, just let, so after you joined your, this is where we ended, so let me just go back for understanding sake. So this is the front. Okay, I've joined two of the fronts together. We've already done the pocket. You can check the first one when this one is over. So I've closed here by half an inch. All right, I've joined here by half an inch. I left 1 inch, I left 1.25 for the opening of the inseam, that is the inseam of the trouser. Okay, and this is my crotch line. So as this is right sides facing each other, I'll just lift one up down like that, and then on this part, which is the right part, my zipper with the teeth. Okay, with the teeth. All right, this is going to face down on my fabric, making sure that the side align to the lining. Okay, the, sorry, not lining, to the crotch. Okay, so the side aligned to the crotch. So I'm just going to place it like this, and I'm going to grab my zipper fly. So my zipper fly is here. So this is my zipper fly. I'm going to grab this. Like I said, this is going to be on fold. Okay, this zipper fly is going to be on fold. So once I fold it like this, then I'm also going to place this. So it's more like I'm sandwiching the zip in between the trouser and then the zipper fly. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then place this on top like so. I'll show you how the arrangement looks like. So this is how the arrangement should look like. Okay, so you just place it on top, make sure the side is aligning, then you place this one on top as well. Okay, just like this. And I'm going to be stitching very close to the teeth of my zip, just like that. So very close. All right, so I'm going to stitch very close to the teeth of my zip. Okay, now I want to use a zipper foot for this because I want to stitch really close. So I'm going to use my zipper foot. So this is my zipper foot. I'm going to be using this for that, for the stitching of the zip. When I'm done, I'll just change it back. So I'll go ahead and start from the upper part. Okay, making sure everything is aligned. You know, make sure everything is aligning perfectly. Okay, now that this is done, I'll go ahead and stitch. So this is how it's going to be. Okay, so you sandwich the zipper in between. So I'm sandwiching the zipper in between. So I hope you are watching what I am doing. So you are going to stitch a little bit down from the 7 inches. Okay, so you are going to stitch like maybe 7.5 inches because the 7 inches mark is where we started our joining our joining the both fronts together from. Okay, so this is our 7-inch mark. We are just going to stitch away from the 7-inch mark, just maybe half an inch away from the 7-inch mark. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean when I'm done. Please, you can leave your comments down below. Thank you. Okay, so this is what I mean by you can stitch away from. So at this point is 7 inches. Okay, where the joining starts from. Okay, it is 7 inches, so you stitch a little bit down. You can stitch half an inch away from that 7 inches mark. All right, so now we are done with this side. You can go ahead and stitch on top, or you can iron. Okay, so I'm going to leave it this way. I'm going to leave it this way. I'm not going to stitch on top, but you can stitch on top. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now we are going to the other side of the zip. Okay, where the fly is, the zipper fly is. Okay, so this is going to be right sides facing each other. For where the zipper fly is, I'm going to place the fly on top of the trouser, right sides facing each other, making sure that this part is aligning. Okay, then I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inches from there. Please note a 1/4 inch from there. Okay, so just like this. Okay, so I'm stitching a 1/4 inches, just a 1/4 inch, nothing more, nothing less. Or you can do 3/8 of an inch, but you can't do less. I'll answer the question when I'm done with the tutorial. Okay, so I'm just sewing the zipper fly to the trouser at about a 1/4 inches away from that. Okay, please, I hope you all can see everything clearly. I hope you can see everything clearly. Please share the video so that others can learn as well. Thank you. Okay, so now after joining your flap extension, okay, after joining your flap extension, this is how it looks. Okay, so now I'm going to be opening this allowance and I'm going to iron. Okay, so once I'm done ironing, I'll fold it over like so. I'll fold it over again and I'll iron so that this part can come out nice and flat. It should come out nice and flat. So go ahead first, open the allowance, open it up and iron first before you fold it over and then iron. So I'm going to do that on the ironing table right now. I'm going to show you the outcome. Okay, okay guys, so I'm back. I'm about to iron. I'm about to iron now. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Please like the like, tap on the like button, tap on the like button. Okay, okay, so that's because she's used to using that scissors. That's why. Okay, because she knows how best to use the scissors. All right, so guys, I am still ironing, so don't go anywhere, just stay tuned. Okay, I'll be done soon. All right, I'll be done soon so that we continue. Now, see, that's because she's used to ironing. Okay, she's used to ironing, that's why she she was able to use her own scissors to cut the fabric. All right, I hope I've answered your question. Thank you. I thought you might be asking about this tutorial I'm doing here. Oh, your questions are outside the box, if I may say. Because right now we are working on a craft tutorial, so I'm expecting questions from here. Okay, I'm expecting questions from here. Guys, I'm still ironing. Okay, so please please test your iron, so that you need to test your iron so that it doesn't come out bent. Okay, so I'm done now. This is how it looks. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay, so just go ahead and iron. Let me iron it again, because it didn't really come out well. I'm going to do the ironing again. So when ironing, just make sure that your steam, your heat and everything align with your fabric. Okay, some fabric can take high heat, and some fabrics too cannot take high heat. So depending on the fabric you are using, okay, depending on the fabric you are using, the settings will work depending on the fabric you are using. So I hope your question is answered, Nelson. So next, after ironing this in, okay, after ironing, just go ahead and place this like so. You place it, make sure it is aligning with this part. Okay, so you just place it on top like so. Okay, make sure it is either aligning or a little bit overlap, just a little bit overlapped, not too much, just a little bit overlapped. Okay, just a little bit, not too much. Take note of that, not too much. And the overlapping should take place at the waist, not here. Okay, the overlapping should take place at the waist and not this part. Okay, so just maybe about a quarter or half inches overlapping. That's all. You can't do 1 inch. You can't go in like this. It will definitely change the measurement. So just do like just half an inch overlap, and that will be fine. Okay, so once this is done, just flip the side. We have the flap extension. Okay, hold it side, or you can even pin it if you are not used to it. Just pin this part down. Okay, then you are going to put your hands here, then lift it over like so. Once you lift it over, this is what you have. Still maintain your hand. I'm going to try once again so that you see. Okay, so you pin here and you place your hands here, making sure that this is not moving. Okay, this part is not moving. Then you hold it this way and you flip the other side of your pants or the front part of your trouser this way. Then you pick these hands. And then you put it here before you leave this one, so it stays in place. Okay, so after you are done, go ahead and grab your zip. So this is the zip. We have let me show you something. This is what we sandwich the other side. This is the other side of the flap. You don't need to grab that one, only the zipper. Okay, only this zipper. So you grab the zipper like so. You grab the zipper. together with your flap. Okay, so just hold it like that. Then you hold it like this. So this is what you have. Okay, this is what you have after you've grabbed it. Okay, this is what you have after you've grabbed your zipper and your flap together. Okay, so with this right now, if you can't handle, just pin this down, but if you can handle, just take it to your machine like that. Okay, making sure your hands are on it. All right, then you stitch. So you stitch this down, stitch this down like that. Okay. Hey, I'm on live, baby girl. Baby girl, I'm on live, man. Okay, so guys, you just stitch it down like so. Alright, stitch it along the edge, alright, to your flap. Okay. Hello, welcome. And Florence, welcome. So we are learning how to make a professional male trouser. So this is what it looks like. Okay, now when you open it, this is what you have. So when open, this is how it looks like. Okay, so when you close it, this is how it looks like. So now we are going to be stitching our flap down. Okay, so remember we always have this kind of shape on our, I don't know how to say pencil, no? Pencil white here big. I think so. I'm coming here actually. Okay, so guys, I'm now coming to mark that shape. Okay, so I'm going to mark. This is how the shape looks like always. Okay, so you can stitch this down or you mark it first. So I hope you can see the shape because I don't want to do too much marking. Okay, I don't want to do too much marking. The trouser is almost coming together. Okay. I use Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hello? Okay, so I think you can hear me now, right? Can you please type if you can hear me now so that I know whether I'm continuing or I'm checking? Okay, okay, nice. Okay. So the back is ironed now. Okay. I've ironed my darts in. I've done the same thing for the other parts of the back trouser as well. They're ironed in. Everything is ironed in. Okay. Now next I am going to be choosing one part, like I said earlier. I'm going to be choosing one part for my Welt pocket. Okay. So I'm going to fold this into two. Alright. I'll fold this into two like this. Okay, to create a crease line on my interface. Hello, is it okay? Hello, is it okay? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, is it okay? Okay, okay, that's fine. Okay. Sure. I almost fell down. Okay. So folding this into two. Remember we folded our welt piece into two like so. Like I said, the welt is 30 inches long. I made it that long, okay, so that it will be sufficient for whatever I'm about to use it for. Okay, if there is leftover, I'll just trim it off. Okay, so next I'll just match this part. I'll match it together. So this is my waist, this is the waist, and this is the welt. Okay, so I'll just place it, making sure that this center part here is aligning with my dart. All right, yeah. Next I am going to demarcate, this like so. I'm just going to mark so that you can see the center part. Now we are going to be making our welt. Okay, this is a welt pocket. Okay, we're going to be making our welt pocket. I am going to mark, I want my pocket to be a half inches like thicker. Okay, okay, I will check my comments. Okay, I will check. All right, all right, thank you. So I'll go ahead and then divide this uh, interface into two. From here to here, I'll divide it into two. So I have 3 inches, so I'm going to divide it into two, making it 1.5. Okay, so with this right now, I'll go ahead and do the same thing so that I can get a straight line. Then I'm going to mark this straight. All right, then the thickness of my pocket is going to be 5 inches. All right, So I am going to mark, I'm going to place 2.5 inches on the middle here. Alright, then I'll mark 2.5 here and then 2.5 here. I hope you get me. Yes, 2.5 here, 2.5 here. Now, like I said, my pocket is going to be half an inch thick because I don't want it to be thick at all, just something. So this is the thickness of my pocket. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this part as well. Then I'm going to connect these points together to form, is a rectangle. Let me show you what I mean. So just go ahead, mark this, and then join these points together as well. Okay, so after that you are going to connect these points together. Then, so now we have our welt shape. Okay, so go ahead and pin this down. Pin this down. You have your pin. All right, yes. So now we are coming in, okay, from this part and then this part. We are coming in by half an inch, or maybe 3/8 or 4/8, 3/8 of an inch. Let's say 3/8. Okay, so I'm coming in by 3/8 of an inch, and this part too by 3/8 of an inch. Okay, not too much. Then I'm going to rule a straight line to this point, and I do the same thing from here. So this is my dark tail. Okay, this is called a dark tail for the welt pocket. You need this dark tail later when I am working on the welt. So our welt construction is done. Okay, our welt construction is done. Now I'm going to stitch this all round, like so. I'm going to follow the shape, so just stay tuned. You don't want to outstitch it. Okay, don't overstitch, just be on point. All right, so that later when you are cutting through your ends, it will be very sharp and nice. Okay, so don't overstitch. Make sure that you are stitching right on the welt shape. Okay, and don't do like too much of double stitching. Don't do too much of double stitching. Okay, so that it can stay neat. Right, when you are cutting through the edge. Okay, okay, now I'm going to bend this back. Okay, so next I am going to slash this. I'm going to cut through. All right, I'm going to cut through this. Just like that. Okay, just like that. So remember, it is right side, so you are doing right sides facing each other. Okay, then you go ahead and slash through to this dactyl point. Okay, so when you get to this dactyl point, we're going to slash through this part to the corner here. You do the same thing for this part. Okay, make sure you are very careful when it comes to this part. Very, very careful. Otherwise you're going to slash through the corner and you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'll work on this. I'll be very careful when I get here because my scissors is very sharp. I don't want to overcut. Okay, this is how it's supposed to look. Then I'll do the same thing for this side as well. Alright, so slash through. Okay, so just like that. I think I cut through, so I'm going to reinforce that part. Just be careful when you get to this point. Okay, you don't want to cut through and you don't also want to leave it hanging. If you leave it hanging, your welt will not fold well. Okay, and when you cut through too is another issue. So I'm just going to join where I cut through very well. So I've reinforced the part I cut through. Okay, I've reinforced it. Okay, so next I'm going to tuck everything. I'm going to tuck my welt pocket through. I'm going to tuck it through like this. Okay, alright. So after this is what it should look on the right side. This is what it should look. Okay, the corner should come out really well. Right, so if it doesn't come out nice, that means you need to slash a little bit more, but ironing will do just the work. Okay, yeah, so I'll go ahead and iron this very flat. All right, I'll iron this flat and then I'll come back and show you the next step to take. Okay. Okay, so guys, I'm done. So as you can see, it came out really nice and flat. Okay, it came out nice and flat. So because this is a single welt pocket, I'll just go ahead and grab, I'll mark like I will mark. I'm going slow because I am teaching, so bear with me. Okay, I'll mark at about 3 inches. All right, this 3 inches mark, then I'll fold on that line. Okay, are you see what I'm doing? Then I'll put it, I'll fold it and make sure that this line is falling right on the edge of this. Okay, don't make sure it doesn't cover it. Just let it sit here and here. Okay, along the corners. Okay, so on this 3 inches mark, let me go ahead and rule a straight line, just like that. This is going to sit on it very nicely like this. Okay, making sure that it is not covering the whole thing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pick my pocket alone. I'll leave the trouser alone and pin. Okay, then I'll do the same thing for this side. I'll leave the trouser alone and pin. Okay, so once I pin, I'll flip it over to the right side to see what I have. Okay, and then I will now come and align this part to make sure that it is covering the middle part. Okay, so I'll align this well. So now that I'm done aligning, I'll go ahead and then stitch. I'll raise mine, so align this well like so, and then we are going to stitch. Okay, we are going to stitch this folded pleats. Okay, this folded pleats, we are going to stitch it onto our welt pocket. Right, of course we are still constructing our welt pocket. So I'm going to stitch this. I'm going to stitch on this line. Look at this welt. I'm stitching this. I want this to hold onto, I want the pleat to hold onto like this. I want to make sure the pleat is firm. Let me go that way. So I'm going to stitch right here on this ducktail seam allowance. Okay, I'm going to stitch right on this ducktail seam allowance. So I'm going to stitch, and then I'll open it this way. So I'll open it this way, and then I'll stitch this part too. Okay, then I'll come back and then stitch on this ducktail too. Okay, so I'll stitch on that part too. So I'll stitch on this part too. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so after pleating and making sure that you've covered this part, you flip it over and then you start your stitching. Okay, so please, if you don't understand anything, just let me know so that I can go over again for you to understand everything. That is why I'm on live. I cannot be on live every day. Today that I'm on live, I'll explain it to you better so you can understand. Okay, so ask your questions. I am here. Alright, so I'll begin the stitching. Make sure you are stitching on this line, this dactyl line. Okay, so let's go. Then you lift it over like this, and then you see that same line. Okay, I'm going to be stitching on that same line. All right, and make sure you're stitching on the line. Okay, are stitching, so that you don't stitch on your fabric like the Welt paper, the fabric. Just stitch on the line. You don't stitch on the fabric. When you stitch on this, it's going to affect your pocket. Okay, so make sure you are stitching only on the ducting and the allowances around. Okay, and you are passing your machine straight on that same stitch line. Okay, all right. So with that being said and done, I am done. Let's flip it over and see how it looks. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, this is how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and then iron this. Okay, so I'll iron this well. I'll iron this. I'm on light. What is it? What that mean? What that mean? Let me go see. That you. Let's be you about you. Okay, so guys, I've ironed this. This is how it looks now. Next, I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to use my pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to be closing the pocket depending on how long you want your pocket to be. Okay, check. Okay, so guys, now that this process is done, we are moving on to the second or the third step in Welt pocket making. So remember, this is now my pocket. This is where I'm going to determine the length of my pocket from this point. Okay, so I'll go ahead and determine the length of my pocket, the length of my back pocket. Back pocket is not supposed to be too deep. Okay, so I'm just going to do like 6 inches for the back, at most 6 inches. Okay, for the back. Then on this 6 inches mark, I will fold this over like that. Okay, so let me just pin on my 6 inches mark. Okay, so that I'll know where to fold. Okay, so once that is done, make sure that the pocket is aligning to this one. Okay, then I'll go ahead and remove my pin. Okay, I'll go ahead and remove my pin now. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me. So once this is done, as you can see, I'll just go ahead and then pin all this round. Okay, so I'll hold it like this and then pin. I'll pin my pockets round like that. And then I'll do the same thing for this part, upwards. Okay, so I'll hold this and these two together, alright, and then I'll stitch. So I'll begin my stitching, but I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, because when I turn it this way, I can see the top part, and I'm going to stitch this pocket down here. So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to stitch, because we didn't stitch this top part when we were making our pocket. So now is the time to close this part. If you don't close this part, there's going to be a space up here. Okay, and you only want space to be in the pocket, not up here. Okay, so you need to close this part. Then you now sew your pocket. Okay, so just watch what I am doing. Okay, taking in my pockets all round upwards. Okay, so I think I want to give this U shape around this side. Okay, so I'll stitch this like so, and then I'll continue with this part. So I hope Nelson and Joy, I hope the sound is okay now. There is no glitches in the sound anymore. So I'll stitch, right? I'll stitch all the way up. Okay, I'll stitch it up to hold the two pockets in place. Okay. So I'll stitch and mix this up. So that is it. Okay. The welt pocket is done. Okay, the pocket is done. Like it is done. Alright. Yeah. So now we are done with our pocket. It is now tied to shape. So this is our waist, remember? I'm going to be shaping this very nicely. Okay. I'll cut the excess off. Okay. So this is the excess I had. I'm just going to toss it somewhere. And then we have our pocket ready. Alright. So next I'm going to stitch this part down. Some people leave it this way. They cut it somewhere here and then they leave it. But if you do that, sometimes if you put something in it, their pockets will open. Okay, because it doesn't have weight around this place. So I'm going to tag this down to my waist. Okay. Okay, so Welt pocket is done, top close, everything needs. Alright, yes. So step by step, we are done with our tail. So I'll bring my front in. Okay, so this is my front. So I'll go ahead and iron this again. I think I sat on it, so it's scrambled. So iron this. So next we are going to be taking our measurements for the waist. Okay, but we will need to close the side first. So our waist is 33.5. My customer wants exactly the same measurements as the waist. He doesn't want to put on like how do we call it, a belt. Okay, so he always wants the waist exactly as it is. It shouldn't be loose because he doesn't put on belts. Okay, so next I am going to be dividing my 33.5 into 2. Okay, then I have 15.25 0.5, sorry, 15.25 rather. So with this 15.25, I'm going to place this on the center. Okay, after dividing, I'm going to place this on the center. I'm going to mark. Okay, I'm going to mark. So you see that. So sorry, this is not the marking point. So place this on this, place this here. So this is our center, remember. So I'm going to mark 15.25 on both sides. So this is my 15.25, and this is also my 15.25. Okay, So knowing this, I know the allowance I have for my back. Okay, so I have 1.118 inch for, sorry, let me measure from this part so that you can see. Okay, so I have 1.25 inches for the side, right? So I'll go ahead and bring out my back, and then I'm going to stitch on that seam allowance, right? So this is my center part. So the center part of the back is supposed to be aligning with the center part of the front. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then close the side. We are not coming to take our measurements. Okay, this part is very, very important. Okay, so I'll close this side by, let me just go ahead and mark and pin. Side of my back, this is the other side of my back as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and then match the back panels now. Okay, I'll match this right side facing each other. Okay, and I'm going to stitch. Okay, I'm going to stitch this by, because I have 1.25 inches allowance in the front, the back is bigger than the front. Remember, when I upload the drafting tutorial, you will know that the back is bigger than the front. So I'm going to sew by 1.5 inches or even 1.7 inches. Okay, because I don't want the allowance around this waist part to be too big. Okay, I don't want allowance around this waist part to be too big. So I'm going to sew in by 1.5 inches. Okay, on the waist side. All right. Then I'm going to sew this straight all the way down, and then when I get to the hip part, I'm going to mark in 3/4 inches on the pocket opening part. Sorry, on the pocket opening part, I am marking 3/4 inches on the pocket opening part. That is the stitch allowance I'm going to be needing over there. Okay. I'll go ahead and then push my pockets away. So you push your pockets away, okay? Then you go ahead and stitch on a 3/4 inches allowance all the way to the bottom part, okay? Because when I was cutting, that was the allowance I left, okay? Yes, that was the allowance I left. So I'm going to be stitching that side. Now next, make sure the seams are aligning very well. Okay, make sure it's aligning very well before you go ahead and then stitch. Okay. So I think I started sewing on half an inch around this point. So I was sewing on half an inch instead of 3.5. So I'm going to go in and correct that. So I'm just correcting the half an inch and I'm making it 3/4 inches. I hope you understand. Yes. Now one side is closed, okay? So this is what it looks like on one side. It is closed, okay? So the trouser is coming out like very nice. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. I'll join this part, and then when I get to where my pocket is, I'm going to be sewing on I'm going to be sewing on a quarter inches around where my pocket is. Okay, so 1.5 inches. Okay. Then when I get to this point, it is 3/4. Okay. When I get to this point, it is 3/4 for the allowance. Okay. So I'm just going to sew this in and then put in my 3/4 inches mark here. Okay. Sorry, my thread is finished, so let me change the thread. Okay, let me change my thread. Okay, it's not finished, it's cut. There's some in. Let's just go on. Sorry. Okay. So if you just join me, I am joining the front and then the back together. This live is going to be uploaded, okay? So you can re-watch all the time and make sure that you understand. Okay. Then on the pocket area, that is where the pocket ends. I'm going to mark my 3/4 here. Okay. Then I'm going to stitch this down. You see that? Then I'll lift this up. Though it will not pass on it, but I'll just lift it up and then keep sewing on this 3/4 inches allowance all the way through. Okay. So guys, please, have you subscribed? Please click on the like button for me, okay? I beg you. Like this live for me. Share this live as well, so that others can learn from it as well, okay? Thank you so much as you do. God bless you as you share, okay? So now we are going to take our measurements for our thighs and our knee, okay, and also the hem. All right, so the thigh is 22. The thigh is 22 inches. But looking at the trouser I was drafting, okay, so the half of 22 is 11, right? Half of 22 is 11. So this is it. So I'm just going to measure this, okay? Once this is done, I'll measure and the allowance I have here is half. All right, so I have half inches here, so I'll just go ahead and sew in half an inch because I've already taken my measurements on the trouser. Okay, the knee too is remember this part is let me just flip it on this part so that you can see. This part is being folded, okay? It is bigger than the front, right? The knee part, the back part is bigger than the front. So when you're taking your measurement, make sure this fold is aligning to your fabric like so, your seam line like so. Then go ahead and take your measurement. Okay, yes. So that is what you do. Okay, so I'm going to sew in on the inseam. This is the back and this is the front inseam. Alright, so I'm going to sew half an inch. Okay, half an inch here on the inseam. Okay, so joining the front and the back inseam, I'm sewing half an inch. Alright, half an inch like so. Then I'll do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so this is how the trial looks like. Just grab the inseam, just grab the inseam for the front, and then you grab the inseam for the back as well, and then you are going to be stitching just like we did for the other side. Okay, so I'm going to stitch. Sorry, my thread is out. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm now going to join my inseam together because I've already joined my out seam. So I'm joining my inseam also together, right? Why is my thread coming off like that? I just don't understand. Okay, so this is almost finished. I'll just change it. I'll just change this. And then I'll wrap. I'll wrap the thread around. So while I'm sewing, it will keep, you know, it will keep folding. It will keep threading. Sorry. So, all right. sorry about that. I'll just bring this out and then we'll continue. Okay, so guys, we are back. Okay. So next I'll join this by half an inch, like I said earlier. Okay, so the side seam and then the inseam is joined. Now we are going to be taking the original measurements of our trouser now. Okay, we're going to be taking the measurements. Let's see. Okay, so we'll take the measurements. Looks like we've taken too much from our sewing allowance, from the side allowance, so we are going to be reducing it a bit. We are going to be reducing it by half an inch. Okay, so I'm reducing my waist allowance by half an inch, just half an inch. Okay. I'm doing the same thing for this side as well. Okay. So after that, I'll just go ahead and loosen the first stitch. Okay, I'll just loosen this one. Okay, so now I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'll just loosen the first one. Okay. Okay, now remember our waist is 33. Okay, so we are going to be measuring the whole waist. We open it like this and we measure from one allowance to the other. Then we know how much to take for the waist, for the back. So I have 34 34.5. So that means I'm going to sew just half inch for the back because the waist is 33.5. Okay, so I'm going to sew just half inches for the back. Alright, but I'm not going to close the back now. I'm going to leave the upper back. I'm going to mark at about I will mark 5 inches, and then from that 5 inches point I will stitch because we want to attach the waistband to it. Okay, so we have to attach the waistband. So I'm going to close this from this 5 inches mark that I've already marked. Okay, this is where I'm going to start stitching. Alright, so half an inch, remember. So I'm just going to mark half an inch. I'm going to mark half, and then on that point I'll start my stitching. Okay, so remember we left the opening for the front. Now we are going to be closing that opening for the front inseam, like around the inseam area. This part, this is where I'm talking about. Okay, so around this inseam we are going to be stitching all the way to close the inseam. Okay, so just watch what I am doing. Okay, just watch so that you know what I'm talking about. Now when we get to the inseam side, because I'm closing my crotch line, so I'll open this up. Okay, I'll open this up, and then I'll do the same thing for this side. I'll open it up so that it stays nice and flat. Okay, then I'm going to stitch by half an inch. Okay, then when I get to that point I will tap, then I will go back again. Okay, I'm now coming to create my reinforcement stitch for the inseam so that it doesn't break or it doesn't tear. Okay, the thread doesn't tear around that part. So this is the reinforcement. I'm going back and front until the reinforcement stitch is very tight. Okay, so now our trouser is done. Okay, our trouser is done. We are only left with our waistband. Okay, many of you don't know how to fix the waistband with this. Okay, so I'll be attaching this to the waistband when I'm fixing it. Let me please have it here. Okay, so please subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification. If you are just joining me, we are almost done, but the replay is going to be available, so you can watch from the replay. Okay, so let me bring my trouser out so we can all see. Okay, this is my trouser. You see, it's sitting down really nicely. Let me bring it out so we can all see. Yes. So yeah, my trouser is very nice. Came out very nice. So remember, this is the opening that we left. Okay, this is the only opening that we left. This is my trouser. This is the front. Alright, remember we've not ironed this, so this is the front. Okay, and this is the back. Alright, yes. Okay, so waistband. So guys, this is my waistband. This is my waistband, as you can see. Okay, so this is the waistband. I am going to trim this allowance and leave only half an inch. Okay, I'm going to trim this and leave half an inch. I'm leaving half an inch because I'm going to be stitching by half an inch. Okay, so I'm just leaving the half an inch. And I have two of this, one for the left and one for the right. Okay, so this, I have two of this, one for left and one for right. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to this one as well. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to open my zipper. Okay, I'm going to open my zipper like that, and then I'll pick one part. So this part is the right part. Okay, this part is the right part. I'm going to pick the right part, and then this is how it is. So I'll pick this, and then I'm going to open this like so. You see, this has overlapped. This is, I'm not starting from here. I've overlapped this a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to stitch half an inch in. I'll start by stitching half an inch. For the side seam, make sure you open the side seam. Okay, so open this side seam so that when you are stitching, you don't stitch it together. Okay, so I'm stitching by half an inch. Okay, okay, so this is how it looks. Alright, so it came out really nice. So this is how it looks. Now I'll go ahead and just trim this off, this excess off. Okay, so I'll trim this off, and then I'll do the same thing for this side. Okay, I'll do the same thing for this side. This is the back, this is the center back. Okay, so I'll do the same thing. Okay, then I'll stitch by half an inch as well. Okay, my thread beneath is finished. Okay, my thread is finished. So I'll make thread so that we can continue. Okay, Okay, so guys, before we continue, let me show you, if you are attaching a belt hole, let me show you how you go about this. Okay, so for belt hole, it is okay if you add like 3 to this. Okay, you're going to mark 3 inches from the center, and then you attach your first belt hole. Then on the side seam, you attach your next belt hole, and then on the back too, you mark 4 inches inside, and then you attach the third belt hole. Okay, so before you add your waistband, okay, you are going to make sure that your belt hole is attached. Now with this one, I'll not be adding belt hole, like I would have put it here and then place this on it. Okay, let me give you an example. Assuming this is my belt hole, okay, assuming this is my belt hole, I'll put it here like so, and then I'll align it to the waist, then I'll put this one on it. Okay, but I'm not using a belt hole, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue, because my client doesn't want belt hole. That's why I'm not using belt hole. Okay, yes. So I'm stitching by half an inch. Okay, and make sure your side seam is open. Okay, the side seam, make sure it is open all the time. Make sure it is open. Okay, so and the thickness of my belt is 1.5 inch. Okay, that's the thickness of my belt. Okay, or my waistband. Okay, it is, sorry, my waistband, not my belt. My waistband is, the thickness is 1.5 inches. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it looks like my waistband for this side is short. It's short because it's supposed to be longer. Let me go ahead and join it a little bit. It's short from this side. It's supposed to be longer than this by maybe half an inch, but it appears shorter. So I'm just going to quickly join this waistband. So unfortunate. So I'm going to quickly join this, and then we'll continue with the tutorial. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to join this, and I'm going to be adding my paper stay. I'm going to iron my paper stay on it. Okay, so just a little bit, not too much. Right, so the right side facing each other, and then I'll go ahead and join. This is so unfortunate, but sometimes it happens in sewing. Okay, so I hope you understand. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I've joined as simple as that. I am going to be trimming off the excess. Okay. now I'm just going to iron my paper stay on this. Okay, I'm going to iron and I'll be back shortly. Okay, let me grab my stay. Okay, so guys, welcome. If you are new, we are almost done. But the replay will be on. So make sure you don't miss the replay. Okay, it will be on after the live is done. So make sure you don't miss the replay. Okay. Hello guys, welcome. If you are new, please subscribe. If you are new here, if you are not a returning, please subscribe. Turn on the bell notification so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Okay, so we are joining trousers in a professional way. Okay, not in the normal kind of way you know. This trouser can be sold in shops. Okay, so the way I'm going about it, auntie, okay, so I'm done now. Okay, so next is to continue with the stitching of our trouser. Okay, so I'm going to continue. So this is my waist. Okay, if you are new here, this is my waist, but if you are returning, you know what we are about already. So I'm going to stitch. This. Okay, so once that is done, as you can see, we have a lot of allowance in front. Okay, so we have allowance here and then we have allowance here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to attach this to it. The next thing is how to attach this. I'm going to trim a little bit off. Okay, I'm going to trim some off. Okay, now I am going to fold in like so. Can you see that? I'm going to fold in like so. Then I'll just go ahead and so because this has a label, okay, you need to be careful how you place it so that once you are done, it will not turn. Okay, so this has a label, so I'm going to be placing it like this. Okay, so that once I'm done, it will not turn. Okay, so you see this allowance here, that is where I'm going to be placing this on. Okay, I'll place this here and then I'll stitch it down. Okay, so right now I am opening the folded part of my belt and placing this on it. Okay, and I'm stitching. All right, and I am stitching. Stitch it on the allowance, not on the belt itself, because you need to fold this inside and then this is how it's supposed to look like. Okay, so stitch it on your allowance, the folded part. Okay, don't stitch it on. I'll need to change my thread. The thread is finished on the machine. Since I'm almost done, I'll just go ahead and then use this one. I'll just connect it here. I'll just tie both together so that, okay. So I'm opening this and I'm stitching, I'm putting the, I'll show you when I'm done so that you will see it clearly, okay? Okay. So can you see that? Once I fold, this is how it looks on the inside. Okay? This is how it looks on the inside. And this is how it should be. Okay. So after that, I'm going to stitch this inward like so. Okay? I'm going to cut this off. So this is the excess from the front. And then you fold it like this. Okay? Fold it like this. And then I'm going to stitch this to close this part. Okay? I'm going to stitch it to close this part. Or you're going to fold it like this. Okay? You're going to fold it like this. And then we are going to stitch this. You're going to be stitching on this same line. Okay? You're going to be stitching on this same line. Then we are going to cut this excess around this area off. So there is two methods. You either stitch it like this and you close this off, or you fold it like this, you stitch on this line, okay, you stitch on this line, and then you cut this excess off, then you fold it over. Alright, so I'll just choose the first method, and when I'm doing this part, I'll show you the second method over there. Okay? Yes, so let's go. So with this, all you just need to do is open this up. Make sure it is straight to you. I think it's not that straight, so I'm just taking this straight. Okay, so making sure that this is straight. Okay, I'm going to mark so that I get it straight. So now that we have this, I'll trim off the excess. Okay, I'll trim off whatever I have here and cut the corner. Alright, so once that is done, I'll just go ahead and flip this over like this, right? Then I will bring out the corner really nice like that. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to look. Okay, supposed to be like this. Then I'm going to iron. Okay, I'm going to iron this, but that will be after I'm done. Now we are going to be setting our hook and eye. You know the kind of hook and eye we use for. I'm not going to be adding the buttons. Like I said, it's a professional way. Okay, so next is the hook and eye, but let me finish off this side first. Okay, so this side I'm going to open. I'm going to fold this part. As you can see, I've folded this part. Then I'm going to stitch on this line. Okay, this crease line is what I'm going to stitch on. Okay, so I'm going to stitch on that. So I'm just checking if my line is straight. Okay, so I'm just pressing and checking it's straight. So I'm going to continue. Then I'll stitch on that line. Okay, I'll not stitch all the way through. I'll leave a little bit of allowance there. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, then I will notch the corner and I'll bring it out. Okay, so I think I prefer this method to the first one because this method is way neater than the first one. Okay, so once this is done, you grab the rest of your belt. Okay, you grab this is how we are going to put it. So mind you, let me put it this way so that you can see. Mind you, you've already stitched this part and flip it open. So what we are going to do is we are going to be placing this. Okay, we are going to be placing this inside like this, making sure the writing is facing down. I will fold in our allowance. Okay, the little allowance we have, or you can stitch it like this, right sides facing each other, making sure that as soon as you flip it over like this, as soon as you flip it inside like this, okay, your writing is facing down like that. Okay, so take note. I'm going to flip it over like this and then bring out the allowance I left when I was sewing the bag. Not sew all in. Okay, so I'm going to bring this out and then stitch. I'm going to stitch by a quarter, just a quarter. Okay, I'm stitching this by just a quarter inch, like so. Let me show you how it looks. Okay, so this is it. Look at that. See how it looks now? You see how it looks? Yes. Then you now flip it back. Okay, you now flip it back and then you flip it back. So with this now, you go ahead and then stitch. Okay, you stitch this, you pick this like so, right? Here is it. So pick it up. You are going to pick this belt allowance up. Okay, so is it funny? By France. No. Okay, that's nice. Alright, so this is what we are going to be stitching our belt on now. Okay, this is what we are going to be stitching our belt on now. So I think I stitched this over, so I'm going to loosen a little bit around here, just a little bit, because the allowance entered the stitching, and so it's not so you are not supposed to stitch on this allowance. Okay, the waistband allowance, you are not supposed to stitch on it. Alright, so guys, mind you, we are all learning. So if you have a correction, you correct. You don't laugh. Alright, so if you laugh, it's as if you are throwing down my efforts, and that is not nice. Okay, so So if you have something to say, just correct it. Don't come and comment low. It's not nice. It's uncalled for. Alright, thank you. Okay, so now that this is done, I'll go ahead and then this is what we are stitching our belt on. Mind you, this is what we are stitching it on. So I'm going to go ahead and put this and then start with my stitching like so. So I've grabbed my allowance like this. I'm going to place this on it and then start with the stitching. Okay. So once this is done, you set your, then continue with the stitching. Okay, just like we did for the other side. Okay, so continue like that and then attach this. Alright, attach this to the other side. Okay, so this is how it looks after that. Let me bring it out so you can see. So this is it. This is how it looks. Okay, very neat and very nice. All right. So next, I need to cut all the excess around. I have around this part. I need to cut it off. And then we are going to be fixing our hook and eye now. Okay. So next is the hook and eye. Thank you. Next is the hook and eye. So I'll grab my hook and eye and then we'll fix this. Okay. I'll grab this and then we'll fix. So this is the hook and eye. I need my plier. I can't find my plier. So you will need this plier in addition to fix your hook and eye. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then, because this side is supposed to be the hook and this side is supposed to be the eye. Okay, so you just close it and then you see it. Okay, so the hook and then the eye. So this is going to be the eye and this is the hook. Okay, this part is the eye and this part is going to be the hook. All right, so let's get right into how to fix your hook and then eye. Okay, so next I will just bring out my hook and eye. So this particular hook and eye is for male. Okay, it's for male. So this hook is going to go onto like this. So right, so this is how the hook is going to go on. Okay, and the eye is also going to go onto like this, making sure that this is hooking it like so. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'll first insert my hook. I'll lift up my how do you call this? My already made waistband from the shop. So I'm going to attach my hook like this. But before that, I'll go ahead and put this on to make sure I'm putting exactly where I can, hook this up without like getting any problem. Okay, so make sure that you put your belt over like so, and then you check. Okay, so you're going to check, and then once you check, you can even go ahead and pin. Okay, so once you pin, yeah, you can mark, okay, where your hook is supposed to be and where your eye is supposed to be. Just mark there. Once you mark there, and you can bring everything out, you can bring your pin out. Okay, then I will go ahead and grab my hook and put it exactly on that point. Okay, then I'm going to bring it out like so. Can you see that? Can you see? All right, so I'll bring it out, and then I'll use my plier. To clip this and make sure that it is lying flat. Okay, just like that. I'll do the same thing for this one. Okay, so sorry, I was supposed to add my locker to it. I did not add it, so I'll just lift it up. Okay, sorry, I'll just lift it up. Yes, then we'll put this in. Okay, we'll put this in. This is the base for the locking, and then we'll now clip it. I'll now clip it in. Okay, I'll clip it in so that it stays nice and flat on the locker. Okay, so just like that. All right, just like that. And this is how it looks on the outside as well. Okay, yes. Then I'll add my eye as well. So where is my eye? Oh, my eye has fallen down. Okay, this is my eye. Sorry, this is my hook. The guy who commented law has just confused me. Everything is bazaar now. So yes, so this is the eye. Now this is the hook. Hook it like that. Okay, then you place this on top. All right, and make sure it is sitting well. Everything is aligning very well. Okay, so once you look it like that, make sure everything is aligning. Then you remove your hook. Then you can now push it inside, but make sure you are pushing it inside like so, not together with the belt, like the waistband. Okay, so just like that. Then you go ahead and grab your locker. Okay, then you place it also like that. Then you use your plier, you press the pointy edges on it like so. Okay, make sure you follow the direction of how each is placed. Okay, so just like that. Okay, then your hook and eye is ready. Okay, then you can now close your hook and eye. So as you can see, we've not ironed yet, so this is how it looks. So after we iron it will come out nice and flat. Okay, so next you just close your waist. Make sure you trim off the excess. Okay, trim off the excess. Do the same thing for this side as well. Then we have 1 inch allowance around the waist. Remember, we are going to be closing by 1 inch allowance. Okay, for the waist part. All right, so make sure you align everything very nice and neat. Okay, So you can pin like this, and then I'm going to be stitching half an inch all the way through to our opening. Okay, remember we have an opening, so I'm going to be stitching half an inch all the way through to that opening. Okay. So guys, now make sure that you open the seam allowance also. Okay. Then you open the seam allowance for the back. Okay. Open the seam allowance and then fold it over like so. Okay. You fold it over, and then now you can stitch. You can now start your stitch in the ditch process. Okay. You can stitch in the ditch. You can start from here. You can start from here. You stitch right onto this ditch. You see this ditch here? You stitch inside. Once the band, the already made band is folded onto it, like you just stitch in the ditch, and then it's going to fall on it like that. Okay, so I'm going to be ending my live here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you in my next